Do 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 do. So take us through Nomads, James. For those not familiar with the Nomads concept.
So, because of where we are with post pandemic era of Joshi wrestling and Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro basically becoming like these two labels,
It's
if you
only gonna be
will,
two
two top
labels.
labels. Um, the rest of the Joshi scene has struggled, and a lot of the wrestlers, like with the closing of Act Rest Girls, uh, with a huge stable of people that you know in Stardom, if you're a Joshi fan of like someone like an Emeka, Tam Nakano, Nasapoi, um, like to see that close down, and they were a promotion that had like two sub brands, a more serious brand in beginning, and a more uh let's say stage actressy type of pro wrestling of goofiness, if you will, called Colors. Um, all of, a lot of them have became freelancers, and also there were always top freelancers in the Joshi scene that like end up at the various promotions that make the rounds, whether it's a Oz Academy or Seedling or an Ice Ribbon or Sendai Girls, and um the first show for Nomads, I had JD from Red Leaf Retrocast point this out, talking about how like when you're a freelancer, they'll push you to a certain slot, but they won't put you over, or they'll put you over to be a transitional champion to get you to the next person, but like you'll never be someone's top star.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the best wrestlers in the scene are freelancers because they're that talented and get a number of dates. But the thing is, like they won't ever be on top, or if they are on top, it won't be for long, or they'll be like tag champions, or they'll be almost like a replacement champion, like for example, in Prominence, because they're a freelance faction. Because of an injury for the top champion in Wave, now Suzuki is the top champion in Wave. She's the Regina the Wave champion because Nozaki tore ACL, which sucks because Nozaki's really fucking good. Um, so when you think about that in those terms, like if they're going to come out here and they're going to be put in these matches to be set up to have to lose big matches often or more times than not, unless they're elder stations like an Anana Takahashi or Hiroyo Matsumoto, that sort of thing. How are these people going to like have their own fan base and draw or make a lot of money doing this, right? Outside of just doing a shit ton of dates, which can do a lot of wear and tear on your body and your long term trajectory in pro wrestling. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, a group of them, Maya Yuki, former multiple time top champion, Ice Ribbon, who along with the Prominence defection, also decided to leave. Who you know, um, she went freelance, and Miyuki Takase, former at Rest Girls champion, she's been a freelance forever. I first came across her in Seedling in like middle of the card matches and county matches that involved Shuri of all people in Max Voltage, Nanai's faction at the time. So it was Miyuki Takase, who was the young girl who got trained by Mizunami, and Big Homie is Nanai, and like they would come out and they would do a whole like Mizunami would come out here and do a whole rap thing, and then they start dancing. They will have two idols with them, and they do a whole dance routine, and then the Nanai's in the middle just doing the dance, and it's fucking hilarious. But she's very good. She's very good. She's one of my favorite freelancers in the scene, and people like Rina Yamashita, who's came over here to Deadlock Pro and done. I think she's done like a GCW. She's done death matches over here in America. Um, and Natsumire, former Stardom, Oedo Tai, you familiar with her, the kid wrestler, if you will. After she had an injury, she took a hiatus, or shoulder injury, she took a hiatus, and they all kind of got together and they said, let's kind of like pull our money together, especially Miyuki Takase, start flipping the bill for the first show. And let's like basically have a promotion that's basically for the freelancers. So the first one they had back in late May, smash success. They didn't do Shinkiba, they did Shinjuku, no face. Sold out tickets immediately. or not immediately, but close to immediately. Sold all the tickets, and then they went out there and they had a very good show, and like had a killer main event. Mizunami in the tag match, she won, pinning Mayuki, and they decided to do a second one on the 5th, so last Friday. And I don't think this show's as good as the first one, but like I like the storyline beats, and like it's in a way it kind of reminds me of like obviously a more adult, less goofy and wacky version, but like it reminds me of like the stuff they're kind of trying to do with like Stardom New Blood, where it's like we have this certain particular roster, and like we will throw storylines, set up like the next show,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in like people relationships, and we know that like eventually these people are going to wrestle each other, and there's just going to be like solid wrestling, more than solid wrestling on this particular show. But I think that it peaked higher in the first show, but I thought this was still a very good show nonetheless. So let's just start. First match opening